Alright, welcome everyone. We're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we're here for JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. Episode 19. Yes. And
Nazis have returned.
The Nazis. Oh no. And we also have Cars. Lord Cars.
The Destroyer and Decapitator.
Yes. Slicing people from outside a house, through a house with his arm, elbow blade thing.
Right.
Whatever that was.
That is apparently able to extend as well in order to actually make the cut work. But JoJos.
JoJos.
People can hide in the
crazy.
necks of horses.
I'm really excited to see how they escalate the conflict. And keep it in the JoJo's kind of, crazy, ridiculous theme.
Right.
But also bring in the whole, kind of fantasy MacGuffin thing with the red stone of Aja and the desire to make a super Aja stone or what have you.
Right.
Or,
I'm really excited for the confrontation between Wamu and Joseph when it ends up happening. Because now that AC/DC is out of the picture, he's next on the chopping block.
Alright, well this will be really fun to watch, so without further ado, let's get into it. Whoa! Holy crap! What? Stroheim?
Yep.
What?
幽霊なんかに出会うよりもカーズそれにシュトロハイム
Yeah.
鋼鉄製の義手それに顔にも異様なメカのコルセット
He's a cyborg Nazi!
That thanks to the Speedwagon
とんでもねえ技
organization.
術が隠されていて
Joseph and hiding this
戦争
amazing
に
medical
備えているというが
technology.
ジョジョ地獄か
He's
ら
crawled out of hell.
喜んでいる
Should I be happy?
人間的には憎めねえやつなんだが
Oh! Have a seat! Alright, shoot, Stroheim! He's gonna take a pillar, man?
No.
お俺を睨んでやがる
ジョジョこの軍人から石石を取り戻したら貴様を始末する
Oh, okay.
この言葉戦士としてかそれとも逆恨みからかカーズ
We'll see.
おいカズ機械など相手になるかそうかい
Oh! What?
Wait.
What?
Whoa.
説が曲がったぞ
Oh my god!
Wait.
指の力1950
What?
平方センチサンタナのパワーの
Okay.
2倍バカ者がどう科学は世界一
Oh my
Is he
god!
obtaining it for like a sample?
できるかも計算されてる
This music just...
貴様の体を鳥の羽をむしるよ1センチ四方の肉片にしてくれろ俺の体
Oh
は
my god, yes!
人間を超えたの
What?
Yes!
What?
This is amazing!
1分間に
Oh my
600
god!
発射可能宇宙人の電波を貫通できる有機関を
Just destroy him while posing fabulously!
That's right. Does that mean...
Jojo's just dumbfounded.
Does that mean our naval laser gun from Ultra Academia is a JoJo's reference?
Oh my
何の
god.
騒ぎ
Whoa.
光腕から出ている剣が光り始めたぞ
Yeah.
モードは光最カットなモード
Whoa. Okay. He's just blocking all the bullets.
バカだこのとはストロハイムはすれ違う瞬間目撃し理解した
For a split second, he had the powers of Speedwagon.
ただの鋭いカッターではない動いていた高速で動いていた
Whoa.
サメの歯のような形の細かい微小なしかも鋭い
It's a
爪が
saw.
Chainsaw, yeah.
It's a lightsaber.
Basically.
まだ勝てん今の俺の装備では今の人間の科学では
And then he falls in
奴には
half.
勝てん
I guess we'll see.
Yep. Ha.
サンタナが何だというのだ奴はおっちょいガキ
Okay.
のような存在
This is
He's just gonna
fantastic.
carry the half of his body back.
砲弾を切断したほどの切れ味あんな切れ味のエッジは素手で防御することは不可能だ
No, that would end
俺の
badly.
一点集中の波紋であってくしゃマムーから解毒剤を手に入れなきゃなんねえし
Yeah, you do.
アーズからは逆恨み
Yeah.
今年のジョジョは役立つか
石石はこのポケットに入ってる
There's no way he'd be stupid enough.
なエイジャの
I
石
guess he
石
would.
Eye laser or something?
我がドイツの科学力
German science is no
It's like Dio.
Oh my gosh!
Get it. Grab it.
雪面を滑って戦績が滑っていく。もし崖下に落ちたらこれは一体
Something appears to have happened here. What is this?
ジョジョ早く拾いに行け。十分先に追いつける。
Charging for it.
くそ
Go, Joseph!
200-300 メートルはある
You're
ぜ。
using your secret technique! How can you lose here?
Exactly.
しかしエンパイアステートビルの高さだぜ。
Whoa!
俺は落ちたら
Super
確実に死ぬ。
ジョジョ、貴様はこの俺が先に石石に追いつき掴もうとする瞬
If you
間
want
に
to get
隙
me,
ができ
that
る。
would be the
そ
time.
の時蹴りを放とうと考えているだろう。
その通りだぜ。蹴りを食らわせてやら。足で剣だとになっている。実は俺の蹴りは雪を蹴るために放ったのだよ。プラスブレーキも兼ねてね。
Ah! Genius!
石をナイスキャッチしたサイダー。
Oh! Oh!
That's a problem.
カーズの剣が俺の肩と
Oh!
一
Oh!
体化し始めている。
Is he absorbing him?
I think he's drinking him essentially.
谷底までの深さ175メートル。
No.
約5秒で谷
What
底
can
に
they do in
決
those 5 seconds? I think Cars is gonna survive the fall no matter what. But
Yes.
oh! Okay.
Okay.
相手の油断を利用するのは俺の得意だ。この執念というやつはなかなか厄介だぜ。
His natural counter. Yep.
逆にこの剣へ波紋を流せば
Ooh, that's true.
Maybe not.
No, he probably can. But he's trying to
足
drink
の
him
剣
right
に波
now.
紋を打ち込みに来ると思ったぞ。
それならば
Oh!
地面に叩きつけて、そしてやばい、腕の剣で切りにかかってくる。カーズは岩盤からの跳ね返りの位置で
Yep.
ジョジョを待つ。
He bounces off it, comes
これ
back
は見逃
down.
しようがない。
Yep. Stopped him.
He doesn't want to destroy the stuff.
But he doesn't want it to be destroyed either. This is so epic though.
No way, he's gonna link them together.
Oh my gosh.
波紋で足りるはずがない。足りない長さはこの俺が。
Brilliant.
Caesar, you are awesome.
そのくだらねえレベルの考え方にやっとお前も到達できたわけね、シーザー。ナイスよ、ナイス。Very nice, シーザーちゃん。
Very nice, Caesar Chan. Yeah. Oh. Whoa! Whoa!
Okay.
What? What?
He didn't want to mess
He didn't
up
want
the
to hurt
flowers.
the... Yes! It's like the dog.
Yeah.
Or was it a cat?
サーモンの燻製ならお気に召すかね。
It's like, yes! And then he's gonna eat it.
と
Joseph is just gonna eat it
大
himself.
好物みたい
No,
に。
he's gonna toy with
ほれほ
it.
れ、ほれ。かかったね。
Whoa! What the heck?
どうだ、たまげだか。海見も取れまい、上品猫。
絵師弟子が石石を送った宛先の住所はあの建物です。
Gotcha.
閉鎖されている寂れたホテルのようだ。
すかさず攻撃すべし。
同感だ。
Maybe the Germans have some
外に
rockets
は
they
出
can
られ
use.
ない。
Just
我々にとって今が言える。
German military technology is number one in the world as well.
that's right.
カーズはああやって何千年も過ごしているやつなんだ。昼間外からの敵に何も備えてねえわけがねえ。
Good
何
point.
今の俺は兵法書の孫子に
Yes,
従
Sun
う。
Tzu. Don't attack a walled city.
戦うぜ。
Oh, that too.
行かねえと言ったら行かねえ。貴様、おじけづいたか。おじけづく。
I'm being smart.
Yeah.
あのホテルに入ったら俺たちの方が完全に不利になるんだぞ。
True.
焦ってなどいない。これは決着だ。一仮面のために死んだ俺のじいさんと
Yeah,
お前の
dude,
そ
calm
の代から
down.
の因縁に決着をつける。
You'll be
先生が
finished.
どうしたって言うんだ。くだらねえぜ。50年前の死人なんかを持ち出すな、このバカ。
Yeah, don't use that as an excuse to join
ジョ
him.
ジョ、会ったこともねえ先祖の因縁なんかクソくらいだ。仕方。
Whoa.
そんなことでてめえが死んだら間抜けだぜ、
Wow.
このアホが。
Yeah.
They're gonna waste all the time that cars can't go outside by fighting each other. Enough!
Yes. Yeah. Seriously, guys. Yeah, just...
俺は行くぜ。
シーザー、ジョジョの言う通り、やはり危険なの。私たちはホテルの内部を何も知らないのです。夜カーズを迎え撃つことにします。命令です、シーザー。石石を守ることが第一の。
No, because they want to hide it because the stone is what's going to defeat cars.
俺の決闘の問題だ。セペリ一族の問題なのです。カーズの居場所が分かっていて、一族の恨みを晴らさないわけにはいかない。
Impatience.
襲ってくるのを待つだなんて悠長なことを言ってられないでしょ。
腕づくでも止めなさい。
Yeah, but we know that.
Don't know if that'll work out.
Yeah, I don't think he can stop him.
ジョジョ、あなたは彼の秘められた過去に触れてしまったのよ。
That's obviously why it was.
弾みだったけれど。
JoJo, of course, isn't
シーザ
noticing
ーの
it.
最も傷つきやすい部分に触れてしまったのです。
Oh.
なんだ。それは一体。
Oh boy.
Okay, that was a ridiculously fun episode.
That was.
We got the whole Stroheim is backed by German medical technology. Yeah, and he's the cyborg Nazi officer who used Pillarman info to get his body to work like this.
Right.
And he's got a machine gun with armor-piercing rounds firing at 600 rounds a minute. A minute. So
10 a second.
10 a second. Yeah, you can just
10
said that.
30mm armor-piercing rounds a second.
That's pretty impressive for World War II era.
Yeah, absolutely.
Pretty good.
And the fact that
it's in his stomach, and he just like pelvic thrust, fire.
And I love that. Okay, maybe this is like this is a little thing, but the fact that they had enough practicality in the design to have it still be belt fed, even though everything else about it is so ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
That did my heart a lot of good.
It was very exciting to see that they paid attention to those little bits of detail here and there, and
even though they didn't explain where the bullets came from, like because we didn't see them on him or anything like that.
They could have been in his
coat. Who cares?
It could have been in his coat.
Sure, or maybe inside one of his metal arms.
Possibly. But oh my gosh! And then the whole idea that they went in depth into Kars's little
rainbow blade chainsaw thing
that refracts light.
Yeah,
I actually found that to be kind of interesting because I wonder if he, in a way, used that weapon to kill other vampires or pillarmen. Because when I saw the thing of refracting light, I was like, wait a minute, maybe Kars, you know, like actually had to kill some of the other people that would be harmed by light. So the blade could basically...
But he's harmed by light.
I know. But basically utilizing an environment where he would maybe contain light or something like that, or he would reflect natural light and kind of hurt himself intentionally to send it out as a weapon.
Possibly.
I don't know. Just the fact that they made that little detail bit there, I think, is important.
Sure.
But yeah,
I love how even though it wasn't his final moments, but in what would have otherwise been his final moments, Stroheim had a moment of Speedwagon, where
he did. Nothing I do or normal technology will be able to defeat him.
Exactly. Well, not just that, but like, okay, the idea that if you have a blade that is that sharp and that refracts the light like that. And someone's swinging it as fast as Kars would have been swinging it, you're not really gonna be able to notice the fact that it's actually like has a little chainsaw blade along the edge of it.
But the narrator made a very specific thing to notice. And in that final moment, Stroheim noticed the makeup of Kars's blade,
which I thought was just great. It is
fantastic.
I also loved how Jojo was making these comments about the depth of the canyon, right? Yep. When I don't think he had even seen it. Like, he hadn't even looked down it, and he's like, it's at least this many hundreds of meters. That's the size of the Empire State.
echolocation, you know, that's all it is. Yeah, makes sense.
And the whole thing of them getting to the edge of the cliff and being like, you have to break. But I don't. I plan around your plan.
You're going to kick, aren't you? It's like, well, yes, but I planned that you would react to my kicks, so I planned in a way that would get me the stone as you got the stone with your feet. Haha. I love this kind of stuff because it's so stupid in a lot of ways, but JoJo's never really holds back from. It has no shame with it.
Exactly.
It doesn't try to cover it up. They own it. Absolutely. 110%. So Cars' character has this kind of simplistic kind of resolve. I will get the stone.
I will not squash those flowers,
Well, yes, but that little added bit of, like that's not squashing the flowers, but also his kind of saying that, Jojo, this isn't your moment to die. Little things like that are like, wait a minute. Cars has this kind of almost destiny thing about him. Like he even says it. It's like the red stone of Aja. It was always my destiny. Yeah. And I'm like, wait, you're burdened with glorious purpose.
No,
what is that?
Don't.
I know. I mean, but he believes something about kind of his ultimate fate or his ultimate destiny that makes it so he doesn't believe that he needs to interfere with the will of those that aren't directly opposing him. So it isn't until Jojo directly steps in to stop him that he actually does anything, because he could have swiped at him with his blade when he ran past him, but he didn't. So I'm like, wait, Cars, what's your deal?
And even later when they're falling, and even later when they're falling, he swiped at him then because he actually he's like, okay, I need to. But then Joseph just holds up the stone and is like moving it in all the different places.
Chris is like, you've seen through me.
Dang it, my one weakness. I don't want to destroy the stone.
Yeah, if Cars had been a little less obvious with his motivations, Jojo would have been done right there. And I loved how they had that little exchange with Caesar where he's like, obviously Jojo would come up with this stupid move.
Yes.
And he's like, aha, Caesar, you're thinking like me now. Yeah. Good job, Caesar-chan. And
yes, Caesar-chan.
That was beautiful.
Oh, that was amazing.
So the relationship between Caesar and Joseph has always been kind of this friends by necessity, and it hasn't really had this much depth to it, but now they're kind of drawing out the idea that they're both carefully observing each other and learning from each other and being influenced by each other.
Right before they bring up the
conflict, which I think is good, because Caesar as a character is a little bit weak right now, but the revenge aspect of it can be tempered with when he finds out how strong.
Right. I would say, and the reason that his character might feel a little bit weaker right now when compared to someone like, say, Joseph, is because even though he is a ham, he doesn't have that quite same level of just ham that Joseph is. So it makes it a bit more apparent, I would say. Whereas with Joseph, well,
they're both hams, but Joseph has 5 more charisma points than
or his modifier is
5 more.
Yeah. Because if you think about Joseph and him as a person, he doesn't really have any depth either.
Right, that's
right. True. He cares about Speedwagon, he cares about Granny Arena, but other than that, he's just basically a jokester, and that's fine because it's so entertaining to watch him do his antics. But I get the feeling, we will probably be getting some development and depth for Caesar momentarily.
Yeah, and with him getting that depth and focus, are they hinting at kind of what they're thinking of?
Yeah, that's a death flag.
It's a death flag, but it's also the remember how I always suspected that he was related to Dio in some way? So he has the Zeppeli thing, but it takes 2 to tango. What if there was some
Dio is a dude.
Jacob, I'm aware that Dio is a dude.
Yeah.
But Dio could have had a daughter, or if he lived, or something like that. Sure. There's nothing that's impossible in JoJo.
Yes, and that's true. That's true. He could have taken over the body of a girl. Who knows?
Yes.
Anything could
Dio
have happened.
could now be a woman for all we know. But I just wanted to say that when they go into this dark past, there's going to be something in there that's not just the fact that he is directly related to Zeppeli. It's that he might have some kind of connection to the Pillarmen, and there's something in there beyond what we already know. Well, otherwise, this whole cliffhanger thing would feel a little bit simple and be a death flag.
Right, because the big question is, because I'm all for Caesar maybe dying, right? And this might be a death flag for that.
It could help build up cars too.
It certainly could. But I don't think Caesar is going to die here.
Okay, I agree.
Like I could see him dying in like the final battle with cars.
Sure.
You know. And if he doesn't die here, then that begs the question, what's going to happen? Because he's certainly not going to be able to beat Cars.
We might find out why Cars doesn't like to kill things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right, because they need to come up with a reason why Cars would spare Caesar. Either that or for, like, Jojo and the others to be able to rescue him, but they've already kind of established that they're not going into the mansion. So
I like that the way that they're cleverly crafting this, because generally in the shonen type of thing here, the main character has to be segregated away from the main villain a lot, because one of them has to defeat the other, otherwise it's just not going to work. But they cleverly had the mechanic of the cliff in this encounter here to keep it to where they would be physically separated, and of course there's Cars' weakness to the sunlight,
right?
So he has to find a place to hide.
Exactly.
But then in this instance, it's that Jojo is actually being smart and saying like, no,
I'm not.
He's
going
probably
in there.
Prepared that lair specifically for defense, so that if he had to make a final stand there, I'm talking about Cars. He would have all the advantages.
Exactly. Now here's my question. So, if Caesar is going to fight Cars, is he actually, like... He probably is going to actually fight him.
Right.
And this will probably be the point where we get the power gap, reaffirmed.
Established.
Yeah, or
like firmly.
Right.
Established,
Cars is way beyond them. He's way better than AC/DC and the others.
Yeah.
And that could potentially be a point where we actually see him maybe use some of his abilities?
Well, we know that... the others have some kind of elemental thing. But I think this is Cars' abilities, is that he has control over his body, and he designed that he would have himself have blades inside.
Okay.
And that's a very terrifying technique in that it's basically he's basically like a raptor, you know, and he's also like an unlimited blade works kind of thing in that he can just pull one out of his body.
Right, assuming that the blades actually are able to cut things, unlike in a lot of shows where you'll have the story that's more like a baseball bat.
Well, no, he just melted through Stroheim like butter. That was the point of this part, is to bring back a character that we like, but also to have it be done in such a way that's over the top, hilarious, and a way to build up Cars a little bit more.
Exactly, yeah.
And there were very little consequences to it because Stroheim is made with #1 in the world German medical science technology. It's the best ever.
I love all the parts where it shows the cut in half Stroheim as like Cars is carrying him, and he's just like looking up at him,
just staring at him like, like, you will feel the wrath of Stroheim.
It reminds me of like Monty Python and the Holy Grail. Like the black...
It's just a flesh wound!
The Black Knight, just completely disregarding the fact that he's been cut to pieces.
Right.
Just doesn't care.
No bodily fluids being, released because of this incision and stuff. So no telling how his brainstem or his heart or anything like that works. Because for all we know, he has Pillarman physiology at this point.
Exactly.
Because of German medical science. It's the best in the world.
Like,
I love it.
It was just one of those things where it wasn't the focus of any of the shots, where he was in there, right? But oh my gosh, I just found it so funny. Like the idea that he's just like sitting there on the snow talking to everybody,
right?
Without an arm and like
without a
most
bottom
of his
half
torso.
Of his torso, yeah. With Stroheim being back in the story, though, we could see kind of a Germans and Hamon Ripple users being
Sure.
brought together as kind of a mini alliance, and that serves a way for Kars to have a Rule Cool moment when he has the
takes on the army.
When he he has the Redstone of Aja super powered and all that.
Oh,
and
yeah.
he basically just lasers them all down or something like that. It'll be basically some kind of like Indiana Jones Ark of the Covenant type thing.
Sure.
With all the Nazis being like, beautiful, it's the perfect being, Kars, and then
he's so
he kills them all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then,
I feel like Kars will get what he desires as his destiny, and some clever JoJo trick or some combination of the stones, like its own power, will be the undoing of Kars.
Okay.
And
that'd be cool.
The fact that they showed him talking about, like, once he had it, he was like, yes, this is my destiny. I think that's kind of the story saying, foreshadowing, he will get it eventually.
Maybe
he will succeed.
Right.
But then he'll, of course, fail. You know.
I wonder if it'll end up being something kind of like the Avatar state, where it will grant him like incredible power, but it will also make him super vulnerable. So that, say, if the stone is destroyed at that point, then he dies, or something like that.
Right. I mean, we know now that, based on some previous stuff, that the Stone of Aja is going to be used to conquer the sun. They said that at some point.
Right. Yes.
So one of the things that Kars will be able to do is just to roam freely. And I think as of right now, that's the main weakness that he has, is that he's not invulnerable and immortal, but he's still like a vampire in that he has to remain hidden during the day.
Which is great, because that's basically them showing in the plot how it is moving away from vampires.
Yes.
Like the last eventually bit that tied them to the vampires is basically going away.
Eventually the story will move completely away from the vampire thing in general. But I think them conquering the sun means more for the future of JoJo's than just what it does for
Kars.
Okay, like there's the idea that they will be conquering the sun for them, or they will be somehow like ending the sun's influence upon destroying vampiric like essence kind of related beings on the world. Like this will go like not full Gurren Lagann, but it will go full on like space, like crazy
I very much
solar system shattering thing where Kars will become like a truly powerful transcended being.
I am absolutely thrilled at the notion that will happen with JoJo's. I don't think it will happen with Kars.
Okay, I don't think it will necessarily happen with Kars like 100%, but I'm like 50-50 split on this.
He'll be pretty much like God mode when he has the redstone.
But we don't know why
seem like that.
We don't know why he will be like. We don't know fully why the stone will like upgrade him.
Yeah.
But I think one of the ways it could do that is they talk about how light is basically the Ripple Hamon energy stuff in there. What if he basically finds a way to make himself, cast off the vampiric stuff?
And that will make him
Pillar
Man with Hamon or something?
Yeah, basically he'll either be immune to it, or he'll be a being of it, so therefore the sun is just a part of himself, so it's not like that. Or maybe he's drawing from the sun's energy instead of
that could be a problem.
Yeah, like the red stone could basically be the focal point on the crest of his forehead for like all the sun's energy that would have hurt him, and now he can focus it through there, and then shoot lasers out of his forehead or something like that.
Well, because I think they did establish that the Redstone of Aja can create lasers.
Well, we saw it at the Venice place. So she like grabs points at the light, and then blows through the little balcony they're on.
So I'm actually very interested in how they'll explain Joseph being able to defeat Kars.
Because he'll find some way to use the redstone.
He'll find some way.
Well, first he has to find a way to save himself. Right. He has to go to the Coliseum and fight the good fight and not die. And not run away. He can't use the secret technique in this instance.
Exactly. Or it's like the writers fullest effect.
It's like the writers were like, we're going to introduce his secret technique, but then once he gets into the real threat, we will have a very specific plot point in place to make sure he can't use the secret technique forever. Right. Eventually, he will have to stand and fight.
Yes.
No. I'm wondering though, I'm wondering though if when Caesar goes to fight Cars, will Jojo just go straight to the Coliseum? Like kind of thinking like, well, I can't do anything about that.
They could do that.
Let's kill two birds with one stone.
Yeah, because he only has what 5 days left.
I think so.
That's not a lot of time.
No, it really is.
So, yeah, I think he does. He at the very least needs to get that resolved because he doesn't. Well, they're in a different location right now, though.
Very different.
They're in a very different location.
I think they're near like Switzerland or something like that.
Yeah, right. Which means that he needs to actually get moving over there sooner rather than later because he has to take that time into account as well.
Right.
You know, with
travel
this whole
time.
5-day limit. But I don't think it will be immediately because they established the whole idea of Cars attacking again at night, and they didn't immediately leave.
This could disrupt that, though. Cars maybe just wasn't expecting himself to be attacked. He's like, wow, you're actually attacking me. That's something I would never expect. And he's like, wait, Jojo's not with you. He's like, no, it's just me. And he's like, wow, well, I don't even care about you. Get out of here. And then he's like, no, you must fight me. He's like, kid, really? Like, just step off.
Yeah, that's actually what I'm most excited about. It's not the fight between Cars and Caesar. It's the conversation because I mean, like the fight's one-sided, anyways. We know we know more or less what's going to happen.
We don't really have much faith in Caesar's abilities right now, even though we know he's almost on par with, or even in some ways maybe even a little bit better than Jojo. But he's not like monumentally better like Cars is.
Exactly. Jojo wouldn't be able to do anything. All of them together probably wouldn't be able to do anything against Cars. So,
ooh, they actually could. They could destroy the mansion.
Well, yeah, that would be fantastic.
But that's where Caesar could actually be a legitimate threat.
They don't have cruise missiles yet, though.
No, but he can use tactics to stay by the walls and like break windows and stuff. And he's like, yeah, and it creates this fun dynamic where the light's shining through in specific ways, and they're fighting around it. But Cars is just deftly weaving through everything.
Here's a thought.
And they could grab mirrors from inside the house and like,
all right, that would be cool. That seems like something that Jojo would do. Like if he were in that kind of situation. Now here's a thought.
Okay.
A way that they could tie it back to previous episodes.
Sure.
Right. For Joseph. Because Joseph has expressed basically disdain or just, apathy for his ancestors, for Jonathan,
sure.
Right?
Yeah.
So what if Joseph ended up pulling a Jonathan and he burned the mansion down while Caesar was distracting Cars inside?
Oh.
Like he just goes up with like a bunch of gasoline and just like with a hose or whatever and uses Hammond or something to like just spray it over the mansion.
Sure.
And then just
that
I mean, it's probably
has a semblance. That has a semblance of sanity.
Yeah, I don't think it's really going to happen, but that would be a cool idea, and it's along the lines of those ridiculous things that Joseph comes up with.
Yeah,
that I wouldn't be surprised if they did it.
I wonder if Cars would like go full like mole if that happened, and like burrow down, spinning his little blades around like chainsaws and stuff, and just burrowing his way out of there while it's like daytime.
Well, yeah, because the fire itself probably wouldn't hurt him, so he could probably just stay underneath, let it burn down on top of him, and then just sleep.
Maybe
just sleep until
I don't know. I think actually the fire would potentially be a problem.
Oh, really?
Potentially. Okay. I'm not sure that it would be a serious problem, but it would be a little bit of one, I think.
Well, I guess we'll just have
to wait and see. Yeah. If you guys want to watch the next episode's reaction right now, you can go check out the link in the description below for our Patreon and get early access, which also comes with Discord access.
It does indeed.
You can chat with us about storytelling or what have you, your favorite moments in JoJo you've seen with us thus far, or Jacob's book, or anything really. And yeah, we'll see you all there. But until then, we're Semblance of Sanity. I'm Caleb.
I'm Jacob.
And we'll see you all next time.